Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we were discussing the 2024 election and specifically how Trump is kind of making a rebound after the fake Kamala surge. So yeah, let's just get into it. So currently, 2024 election is shaping up to be like a massive tug of war where all of a sudden Trump is up massively against Biden, but they get rid of Biden, and now Kamala's up, and now we're seeing a sort of reverb back into the other direction, and Trump is actually making pretty good gains considering how he was down by quite a bit in the polling in like the past week or two, and he's been making a lot of gains. Now the polling, you still got a lot of that fake polling where they're oversampling Democrats and they're polling from 2 weeks ago, and it's just not really accurate polling at all. And what you really want to look at is the true live polling and specifically the betting market. And the betting market, ever since Kamala has started making her views a lot more public and not just copying whatever Trump says and hiding whatever radical takes she has, once she started actually discussing her policy positions, Trump went way up. He went way up. Now he's basically tied with Kamala, and in some areas he's actually up and beating Kamala. And considering the poly market averages, Trump would actually win Nevada, Arizona, Georgia in terms of the toss ups, but Kamala, she has a slight edge in Michigan and Wisconsin, but Pennsylvania ultimately will be the main toss up, which if Trump gets Pennsylvania, he doesn't even need the other states. He doesn't need Arizona. He doesn't need Nevada. He literally just needs Georgia and Pennsylvania, and he wins. And currently, Trump is doing way more funding there than Kamala is, and is massively outspending in those states compared to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is mainly focusing on Arizona and Michigan and securing herself in Minnesota and all those places. Really, she's not putting as much effort into the two states that Trump needs to win in order to win the election than she is really supposed to, because you think that she would be funneling a ton of resources into winning Pennsylvania, because whoever wins Pennsylvania is likely to be the president. And Trump, Pennsylvania, if he just gets Georgia, which he's likely to win, and gets Pennsylvania, he's got a pretty good shot at the presidency because he's already got his 270 there. And Kamala, if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, the election is pretty much over. There's not really that many scenarios that Trump wins Georgia, but somehow doesn't win Pennsylvania and wins a different way. Because mostly it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. And Kamala, if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, not exactly a lot of scenarios where Trump doesn't win. And really, it's going to be a fairly hard fight going on, and Kamala is just making every single mistake humanly possible to absolutely tank her campaign. We, of course, got her price control policy, which that was such an embarrassment that it pretty much rocket jumped Trump back into actually having a small lead, and that was a bad idea. And, of course, Tim Walz, really bad pick. He's saying a lot of dumb crap. He just is kind of awkward, and Kamala is still not offering many policy proposals, but every single policy proposal she's actually proposed during the campaign has only jet rocketed Trump towards tie and slight lead, which, if she keeps doing that, it is not going to be a great election for her because we haven't even gotten to the debate. The DNC is basically over. It's not really going to affect much. Kamala might gain a point or so from the DNC, but her policy proposals where, Trump is going the communist attack line, and it really isn't a great idea to respond to the communist attack line and how you're so radical that you make Bernie Sanders look moderate by advocating for price control. That might be the worst idea, but Kamala somehow did it, and she somehow thought that was a good idea to mention at a rally, and it's looking pretty bad for her if she keeps doing stuff like that. Kamala, she needs to hide her policy positions because as soon as she says dumb shit like that, then Trump gains a massive edge over Kamala. And every single time she does this, it's kind of like the indictments against Trump. Every single time they happen, they boost Trump by even more than he was already at. And Trump has a relatively high floor. So if you start boosting Trump and downgrading yourself, it's not going to be pretty. And it's going to be a very hard fought election because you just keep screwing things up. You just keep fucking things up. Kamala, why are you doing this? If you want to win, maybe don't propose price control when you're getting attacked for being radical. That might be the worst possible decision you could have made, and yet you still did it. Maybe don't pick Tim Walz and openly mock Josh Shapiro by announcing it at Pennsylvania while he's there and openly implying that it was because he was Jewish. That isn't exactly a great strategy, especially if you're trying to play the "oh, I'm so moderate" card. Doesn't really apply. And even the mainstream media is starting to call her out on this and calling out that price control is not exactly a great policy solution. And mark my words, she's going to introduce more dumb crap that tanks her lead, which was already pretty fake and not exactly representative of the actual trends in the United States and the actual betting odds. If she keeps doing that, you're going to get a Joe Biden before the debate scenario. And then after the debate, Kamala is going to be way down. And you can't do anything about it because at that point, people are already going to be voting and election day will be right around the corner. So, Kamala, what is she doing? She is utterly failing at the most simple task humanly possible, which is hide in the basement and don't say anything dumb. She still can't do that because she's stupid. She is utterly stupid. All Trump needs to do is show the fact that she openly advocates for radical policies and he wins. It's really that simple. And Trump, he's leaping right on it and he's calling her a communist. He's saying that she's radical and she picked a radical for her VP pick and all around is just a terrible choice for Americans and is only going to accelerate the inflation crisis. But by the way, Kamala went out there with Joe Biden for some odd reason. She went out to campaign with Joe Biden, the most unpopular president in recent history, who actively was so unpopular that they had to kick him out of the nomination process because he was just that unpopular and that demented. And you bring him out of retirement, replace him with some mint chip, and get him on the stage to go babble incoherently about some random crap about how Kamala is so joyful. And then Kamala gets up there, not only congratulates Joe Biden on a job well done, even though he's not done anything good, but also actively brag about the policies that has hurt Americans and has openly persisted inflation. Why would you do that? Why would you openly go out there and brag about the Inflation Reduction Act? That's a stupid idea. Why would you do that and then after advocate price control? Or are you just actively trying to lose? You were given this massive lead. You were given this overblown lead because nobody knew who you were despite being the vice president. You rolled an absolutely amazing die roll. And then you somehow fucked it up by immediately sabotaging your own campaign, by openly bragging about policy that is very unpopular and caused your boss to get kicked out of the nomination process despite winning the primaries, and openly calling for even more radical policies that would increase inflation and cause mass shortages of food. Why would you do that? Why? Especially since the debate hasn't started. So you're just giving fodder to Trump because as soon as they get on the debate stage, you know they are going to immediately mention inflation. And Trump, he has an attack line. Kamala doesn't because she's going to have to backtrack her previous policies position, which is completely insane. And then you lose no matter what. If you stand your ground with price controls and all that, you are going to be seen as a radical. If you kind of sidestep the issue and try and backpedal it, you're going to be seen as a flip-flopper. Either way, radicals, they don't usually win elections in the United States. Flip-floppers also don't usually win elections in the United States. It is a very bad strategy, and Kamala, she's self-inflicting it on herself. Trump, all he needs to do is point out the fact that she's radical and point out her policies that have hurt Americans and show that they are going to persist if Kamala wins. and they're gonna get infinitely worse because she's insanely radical and way more radical than Joe Biden. So, anyways, what do you think? Do you think Kamala is actually sabotaging her campaign, or maybe she's just stupid? Leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.